Welcome back to GBALLTPK, everyone. Thank you for stopping in. Today, I have an awesome unboxing to dig into for you. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed here to the channel. I'd love to have you hit that thumbs up button. It really helps push these videos out there so more people have a chance to check them out. Let me know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. Love hearing from you and what you are carrying for the day. So I just pulled these out of the mailer. Thank you to CJRB for sending these in for us to take a look at. It is awesome, and I'm really stoked about this one here. So let's see what we are looking at. Yes. So this is going to be, if anyone remembers, or has been following along in the knife scene, CJRB released a Pyrite lightweight model. So they've had the Pyrite drop point, they've had the Pyrite Warncliffe, or Alt as they called it, and then they came out with the Pyrite Bowie. They've had the large Pyrite. They've had a lot of success with the Pyrite, and now this lightweight version is taking the knife world by storm. There has been a lot of raving about this knife, and for good reason. The main reason is these are coming in at $30 for the retail price. Now, MSRP, I think, is $39.99, but you can routinely pick these up for like $29 to $30. I will have everything I can linked down in the description of this video. Those links do help out the channel if you use them, but that is entirely up to you if you want to do so. So let's see what else we have. I thought just one was coming. Okay. And they include a sticker now. Uh-oh, CJRB's really upping their game here. And I'm assuming that they sent two in because they want one of these to be given away. I'm just guessing, but that's what we are going to do. These are identical. So this is going to be one of the new versions dropping on August 20th. I'm going to try to get this up. These just came in. I'm going to try to get this up as soon as possible. It'll probably be a day or two after the 20th, but I'm going to move this video ahead as quickly as I can. Now, to go over a couple of things, they're going to have this version here, the white FRN and black blade. They're going to have a stonewash blade with blue handle, which is going to be similar to this one here, but with a stonewash blade. This is out of the original drop for the Pyrite Lite. And as you can see, this is the blue with the coated blade, but they're also going to have a rose gold blade with blue handle. And that one's going to be a little bit more. The MSRP is going to be $53, but they're going to be sold for around $40. So that is going to be very, very hard to beat. So at this point, there's going to be several options available of the Pyrite Lite, like 4 or 5 different options. And these new ones are going to be really cool because with white FRN like this, you can pretty much writ dye this any color you would want if you wanted to go that route with it. I personally will probably just keep it white. I don't have a whole lot of white or ivory, I guess, mainly white knives like this. They do tend to get dirty easier because they are white, but something in FRN like this is going to be extremely easy to clean up. Now, we are going to be looking at RPM 9 for our blade steel. We have a modified Warncliffe blade, which is beautiful for day-to-day work, EDC blade. And then we have this nice little choil here that you can certainly get right up in there, get right behind that blade, and get a ton of control. You have that nice pokey tip if you have precise work you need to do. The thumb stud placement is perfect with this chamfer on both sides. It allows you to get in there very easily and get a ton of leverage on those studs. And with the proper spring strength like these have, you get an ultra satisfying deployment and a very clean, smooth closing action as well. The button is done as well as can be. It's recessed in there and does not poke out very much. I mean, just a slight smidge over the top of the scales, but nothing that I have ever found to be an issue in any sort of grip. You have to deliberately go onto that button in order to come in contact with it. You have to try, and it, in normal use, and you're not going to be on it. And on top of all that, you're going to be aware that I have a button lock knife in my hand. Let's be careful not, if there was a way, let's be careful not to go onto the button, right? I mean, it's common sense. I know that is lacking these days, not necessarily in the knife world, but just across the world in general. But if you have a button lock knife or a knife like that, it's something that you need to be mindful of. This is going to carry nice and deep in the pocket there. You'll see a tiny bit of that butt end, but not much at all. Great retention on that clip using our issuing stitches Hank. Really solid. FRN is done very, very nicely, textured here, and then this is going to be reversible for our left-handed brothers and sisters out there. In the neutral grip, I wear an XL glove. I still can get a full purchase on that handle. It's going to give you a nice amount of reach. Add in that full finger choil, and this thing just becomes buttery, buttery comfortable. Is that a thing? But this thing is nice and comfortable in the hand. I never thought that I would be, I'm not a huge fan of FRN, but the way that they are finished, it's kind of like steel handles. I was never a huge fan of steel handles, but over time, they have found a way to finish it, mill it out, and do a lot of things to make it not really feel like steel. Same with FRN. Not that it doesn't feel like FRN, but they've made it, lighter weight. They've made it softer. It's just really come a long way over the years. It looks good. It feels good in the hand. No complaints whatsoever, especially at $30. Just absolutely blows my mind. I remember when I first looked at the blue one here, I said, yeah, if it's around $50, it's a go for me. With as much experience as I have with RPM 9 and the Pyrite, I literally have bought in every single one. And I have a lot of experience with the Pyrite series and CJRB in general. And I just said, at $50 or under, this Pyrite Lite model is going to be a thumbs up. Well, not long after that, they started to come around at around $30. So just a very impressive price point from CJRB. The other really cool thing about getting two is we can really get a feel for the fit and the finish. Are there any, differences between the two? How's the action on both? All that sort of thing. It gives us the ability to not just view one sample size, but to do two. Now we have already been through the blue-handled one, but we can kind of see what that one's all about as well. These have nice edges on them. Very nice edges on all three of these models. And I'm not saying that it has never happened. I'm not saying that it won't ever happen, but all the experience that I have with CJRB's button locks, I have routinely held them as the reigning button lock champs just because of the amount of success they have had with them, yes, but they've been able to put out around $50 for almost every model. They're around 50 bucks. They come in good materials, but the internals of the button locks have been extremely solid. It's one company that I've really never had to worry about a button lock and it failing just from a simple tap like that right there. And we're going to test both of these. We'll test all three. The blue one has already been through testing, but I have no fear with these ones at this point. Perfectly centered up. There is a spring in there, so there's going to be a little movement in there no matter what. There's no pivot lashing on a soft open. There's no up and down play there. And if I really wrench on it, I can get the blade to move back and forth, but I think that's just the nature of that thinner blade and me really wrenching on it. But there's actually no movement in there to be worried about. And if you're dealing with a button lock, plunge lock like this, or a crossbar lock, there's bound to be a little bit of movement just because of how the tang of the blade is engaging with that lock. It's just something that happens, but it's not a cause for concern. That is something that happens, and I see it all the time where there's just a little bit of play, but the knife is completely sound and solid. So not something to get all worked up unless it's something real crazy and it's causing issues, right? So let's see what we got here. Put it at that awkward angle, which does make knives fail in some cases. This thing is solid. I can feel it. Good. Number one. Let's go to number two. Perfectly centered. Tiny bit of movement in there, but that's typical for a button lock, crossbar lock. No pivot lashing. Soft open. There's no up and down play. And there's even less side-to-side play. That's going to vary from knife to knife, but like I've said, not a cause for concern at all. Let's see about this one. Good. We'll close it, open it up. Good. One more. And we'll test the blue one for good measure here. This one is perfectly centered. No movement up or down, side to side. Very, very solid. And that one sounds even more solid than those two. I can hear it when it hits. Might not come through on the audio, but you can just tell that the knife itself is kind of giving the oomph instead of the whacker defeating the knife. So that is really, really good to see. We got three examples here, three solid examples coming out of the box with a nice edge on them. Great fit and finish across the board. Solid lockup. Great ergonomics. Just a very, very hard knife to beat, especially at that $30 price point. I mean, that is a great feat for CJRB to put out a high quality knife like this at 30 bucks. It's just ridiculous. If you haven't experienced a Pyrite, you don't have a ton of money, or you don't want to spend a ton of money, this is definitely the model to go with if you're looking for a new, affordable folding knife that's not going to break the bank, that's going to perform well. This is a great option. Also, I definitely give this knife 2 thumbs up. At 30 bucks, it's going to be extremely, extremely hard to beat. Anything in that price range is going to have a tough time beating this knife right here, in my opinion. You'll have to let me know what you think of the new Pyrite Lite series here. Love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I always appreciate that, everyone. If you're new to the channel, we release knife and EDC content every single day. Hit that subscribe button, ring the little bell. I'd love to have you here. I'll put up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I will catch you on the next one.